Yo, what is up guys? It is your boy Dan, back at it again with another video for you guys. Let's imagine we have a server filled with hundreds of members who all love doing the same things we do. However, it's 2023, the trolls are still gonna attack, so we have to have a way to combat people from breaking our rules. So we're gonna make a kick, ban, and unban command today. First thing we're gonna need to do is import our variables from the discord.js that allows us to create slash commands, customize embeds, and check for permissions. After that, we will require the bands.js and the user.js files in the schemas directory, as well as the mongoose library. The bands.js and the user.js files contain MongoDB schemas for storing info about band users and users in general. The mongoose library is used to interact with the Mongo database. Now let's define our new module. We're going to give our command two options. One is asking for the user and the other is asking for the reason, which is optional. Let's move on to the execute function. We start by getting the user that issued the command through the getUser method. Next, we use the getString method to get the reason. If no reason was entered, it will print no reason provided. Now we're going to fetch the user from the database and create an embed for an error message. If the user has a higher role than the person who issued the ban command, it will respond with the error message. Next, we're going to create a new document within our Mongo database using the band schema, and then saving it to the database. We're going to check to see if the user profile exists in the user collection and then add the band to their infractions data. Finally, the user is then banned from the guild and an embed with all the info about the ban is sent in response. Now that we have a ban command, we're going to need a way to unban people as well. Let's go ahead and create an unban.js file in the moderation folder. First thing we're going to do is import our variables from discord.js that allows us to create slash commands, customize embeds, and check for permissions. Let's go ahead and create our new module for the unban command. Set the name to unban and give it a description that you like. We're going to want to check to see if the user has the band member's permission as well. We're going to give this command two options, a user option and a string option. The user option is the user that we want to unban and is required in order to run the command. The string option is the reason for the unban, which is not required but can be provided if desired. Now let's move on to the execute function. This function is called when the unban command is ran, and it contains the logic for unbanning the specified user. First, we need to deconstruct the options object from the interaction object, which contains the user and the reason that was provided when the command was ran. Then, we get the user ID of the user we want to unban by calling the unban method on the guild's member collection with the user ID as the argument. This returns the user that was previously banned. We then use a try-catch block to attempt to unban the user. If the unban is successful, we create an embed using the embed builder class and set the title to user unban, the color to green, and a description to a string containing the username and the discriminator of the unbanned user and the moderator who ran the command, as well as the reason of the unban if one was provided. Finally, we reply to the interaction with the embed using the reply method on the interaction object. If the unban fails, we create a similar embed with the title error and the color set to red and a description set to the string indicating that the unban failed. Now that we have our unban command, let's go ahead and make our kick command. Create a kick.js file in the moderation folder. Like in the previous commands, we're going to start by importing variables from discord.js that allows us to create /commands, customized embeds, and check for permissions. Go ahead and create a module for the command, set the name to kick, and give a description that you like. You're going to want to check to see if the user has permission to kick members. We're going to give the command two options, a user option and a string option. The user option is the user that we want to kick and is required in order to run the command. The string option is the reason of the kick, which is not required, but you can add it if you like. Now, let's move on to the execute function. This function is called when the kick command is ran and contains the logic for kicking the specified user. First, we deconstruct the user and the reason options from the interaction object, which contains the user and the reason that were provided when the command was ran. If no reason was provided, we default to no reason provided. We then use the fetch method on the guild's member collection to get the member we want to kick. This returns a promise that resolves to the member. Next, we create an embed with the title error, the color red, and a description indicating that the user does not have permission to kick the specified user. We will use this embed later if the user does not have permission to kick the specified member. We then check if the highest role of the member we want to kick has a higher position than the highest role of the user who ran the command. If it does, we return the interaction with the error embed because the user does not have permission to kick this member. If the user does have permission to kick the member, we then check if the user has a profile in our database. If they are in the database, we update their infractions object to increment the number of kicks they have received by 1. Then we use the kick method on the member object to kick the member out of the server, passing in the reason for the kick as an argument. After the member has been kicked, we create a new embed with the title user kicked, the color red, and a description containing the username of the person who was kicked and the moderator who ran the command, along with the reason of the kick. We set the timestamp to the current time. Finally, we reply to the interaction with the embed using the reply method on the interaction object. That's it for this video, guys. I want to take this time to apologize for the inactivity recently. I will continue to try and pump out these videos as soon as I can. The Discord is also almost ready, so stay tuned for that. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and give it a like, a comment, and be sure to subscribe and hit that bell. Peace.